This is Brent in the video here, and I'm in the video here today for this brand new video. And today, I'll be talking to you guys about some of the yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice. I've got the one drop rally, Yo-Yo Factory replay here today with me. This is I'm granting you guys a special Canadian sorry. The Yo-Yo Factory replay, yes, okay. Okay, yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice. I'm not even going to redo this, so. Yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice. So there's a lot of yo-yo tricks out there that are hard to do. And I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of tricks that are hard to do. And I'll be telling you guys some of the ones that were the hardest for me to get down. And I just have this, like, show and tell. I'll leave it there so you guys can look at it while we're going through this video. So, yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice. I'm going to go through them right now, and we really need a cut in this video because I'm running out of things to say. So yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice. So I'm going to start off with a trick that took me basically a year to get down. And I practiced this trick for a year, and I was doing it wrong for a long time, and then eventually I got it down. And that's the Boingy Boing. And the important thing with that trick, of course, is that, you know, your throw hand is going up and down to create the motion of the Boingy Boing. And I remember, yeah, that trick took me a long time. I remember practicing in my basement. I was doing it wrong for so long. And I remember recording myself and, like, seeing myself do it wrong so many times. And it's like, oh my goodness. Now, I've said in previous tutorial videos and stuff for Boingy Boing, it's you really have to get that motion down, even if it's just a small little kind of pendulum motion. That's really kind of important for the Boingy Boing yo-yo trick, so that's pretty cool. And I just know in general, I just want to throw in real quick, you know, like if you guys are getting into yo-yo or you're new to it, you know, some of these tricks take a lot of practice and you can get frustrated really easily, and it just takes time and effort, and you know, eventually you'll get them down. Like, that's why I'm going over some of these tricks. You know, Boingy Boing took me a really long time. Another one is the suicide, actually, the basic suicide. There's another hard yo-yo trick that took me a long time, and you know, to get that loop to open up every time, you know, perfectly. It doesn't always happen, but you know, with enough practice and enough time and control, you'll get the suicide down really nicely. That's another one on our list here, is the suicide. Get it down. Try and play with your string tension a little bit. It might help out. You know, sometimes if it's too loose or it's too tight, it might not work really well. There's kind of like a sweet spot, I find, where it's, you have your string loose, so you know, when you put the strings together, it doesn't twist up. Tighten it maybe a couple turns tighter. I find for me that works really well. That's a really good preference for me, at least, is that I can hit suicides really well from that kind of setup for string tension. That's the end of that clip. So another infamous one for me that I still can't do this trick really well at all, but the hook. So the yo-yo trick hook. It's basically like a laceration, but I'm sure you guys know the trick. Yeah, I honestly, most times I still can't hit the hook, or the Hitamasa hook. And you know, I practiced it for a really long time, and I've hit the trick quite a few times before, but I just don't practice it very much, and it's just one that I know I've always struggled with for a long time. And I could probably hit it, like if I threw my yo-yo right now, I could probably hit a couple, but it's just one of those awkward tricks for me, hitting the hook. Also the reverse hook. I think I've only ever hit one reverse hook in my life, and it just kind of happened randomly. It was quite a few years ago, I remember. And I think I hit a couple of hooks, and then I was like, I'm going to try the reverse hook, and I did it, and I just hit it. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I actually did the reverse hook, and I was so surprised, and that's literally the only time I ever hit a hook. Excuse me, reverse hook. That was one of the only times I ever hit a reverse hook. And so that's a trick that I honestly I don't practice it very much. Not so much recently. Or technically nothing recently, right? But yeah, like last year, the year before that, you know, it's not really a trick you'll see a lot of my freestyle videos, right? And it's a trick that, you know, I just don't really do very often, is the hook. And I'm honestly not very good at the hook either. You know, I never did a tutorial video for that trick. So the hook and the reverse hook for me have been hard for quite a little while, for quite a long time actually, like basically ever since I started yo-yoing. That also gets me into the next laceration style whipping trick, which is the Brent Stole yo-yo trick. I used to be pretty good at that trick actually, like I could actually hit it quite a few times consecutively. And then something happened, you know, like over time I would start practicing it again and then I just couldn't hit it anymore. So that's kind of weird, like, I need to hold my legs, it's so weird. Yeah, so I just couldn't really hit it anymore. I couldn't get this trick down anymore, which is so weird. And I don't do a lot of laceration style tricks, like I can do the laceration, but like I said, can't do the hook very well. I don't attempt it very much. I don't attempt the reverse hook very much. I only ever hit one reverse hook, honestly. And it just happened randomly. And the Brent Stole, I used to be able to hit that, and then just over time I couldn't do it anymore for some reason. So, but the triangle laceration yo-yo trick, you might have seen it in some of my freestyle videos, my yo-yo freestyle videos, and also some of the tutorials. Right, I made a tutorial for the triangle laceration, and it's basically like a wrist whip. So you hit a wrist whip, right, and you can stick in your non-throw hand pointer finger, and you drop that string off. You're in a triangle, and you can actually do that fluently in one move. And it's called the triangle laceration, which I made a tutorial for before. So that one I can hit a lot better than the Brent Stole trick. Another trick is Yuuki Slack, and that was a trick originally when I first started practicing it. It took me a long time to get it down. And I remember I got this trick down, I believe it was the night before I started my junior year of high school, so I would call it grade 11. So grade 11 or my junior year of high school, which I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And I remember like, oh, I got school tomorrow, and I remember I was like in my living room practicing Yuuki Slack for so long. And then I just got it down, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can do it now. I can do the Yuuki Slack, and I start school tomorrow. Like, how fair is that? I remember thinking to myself, and just kind of one of those funny things, and, you know, yeah, really funny. But Yuuki Slack took me a long time. I practiced it for a really long time, and I just remember that was another one that took me some time, and it was hard to hit the Yuuki Slack advanced yo-yo trick. So two tricks that use the wrist mount. So there's two pretty popular tricks that use the wrist mount. One of them Spirit Bomb, the other one's Superman. Spirit Bomb took me a really long time. The yo-yo trick called Spirit Bomb that uses the wrist mount. And if you watch my tutorial video for the Spirit Bomb, I kind of explained, you know, like how to do it and what I struggled with when I was practicing the trick myself. And it's really hard to get those two motions down. The first one's a lot easier. The second one took me like 100 tries, I'm not even kidding. It took me like 100 tries, then eventually I started getting the yo-yo in the triangle and missing the string, then eventually I could actually get through the triangle and onto the string. So it's a pretty hard trick. The Spirit Bomb is definitely one of the hardest tricks. That took me a very long time to do. So if you're practicing Spirit Bomb right now, don't give up. It might take you 100 tries like it took me, but you definitely don't want to give up though. And then the Superman. This is actually a trick that I didn't really practice very much before. But over time, like I started practicing it a little more often. You know, it uses like that similar to the part that's similar to the magic drop, where the yo-yo comes down your throw hand and then you hit one of the strings. It's similar to the magic drop, so it really helps if you can do a good magic drop when you practice the trick Superman. And that didn't really give me too many troubles because I could already do the magic drop. But the hard part for me with the Superman trick was actually the last part, where you have to get it back through the triangle and then back into the basic wrist mount, and then you can dismount from there. And the traffic is crazy again. I don't know why people are so crazy on the street. But anyways, yeah. So, and recently I could actually throw like a Superman. I could probably do the trick right now. You know, because over time I could start getting it through that loop and then back onto the string. That last part I got a lot better at over time. And it's not really the hardest trick, I don't think, but it is difficult. So, yeah, Superman's another one that took me a little while. And then the last one, I guess, you know, Poppin' Fresh took me a little while too. The Poppin' Fresh yo-yo trick, where you're crossing your arms back and forth. That one took me quite a little while. And, you know, you get the first motion down, and then you can go into the second motion. You really have to have those strings lined up and your fingers crossed in the right positions, right? So you want them to be in line with each other when you do the pop and fresh. That's really important. It's really easy to do this trick and then miss a lot of times, and to keep it consecutive takes a lot of practice. But when you get it down, it looks really cool, so that's the good thing, right? So yeah, that one took me quite a little while. I remember when I was practicing that first part, which I'm pretty sure it's called the mondile, when you're in that pop and fresh position with your arms, like they're in this position like this, or at least for my case they are. So they're crossed like this, then you pop it up, and then you have to like, well, it's not really uncross or cross, but you pop it up and then you land in this position, where the yo-yo is in the split bottom mount position. That part took me quite a while. I remember the first part, because I didn't really know how to do it, and then eventually I kept practicing, and then I could do the first part. And then yeah, once you can do the first part, which is the mondile, the second part's really not too hard. You just have to keep your fingers lined up, and then back into the previous position, and then you can keep repeating it. And it's a trick that you can really get down really strong. You can get this trick down really strong if you practice enough, and it looks really cool. Yeah, I remember when I did that trick in the talent show, everyone thought it was like the coolest thing ever. That yo-yo trick, pop and fresh. So, but it was definitely a hard trick to get down. So thank you guys so much for watching my video here today. Yo-yo tricks that took me the most practice to get down. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you so much for watching. I got the Yo-Yo Factor replay. It was in the video here today. Thank you so much for watching. That's it for me today.